What's going on, guys? My name is Joe Graves, and this is Mastering Business Growth. Running a business can either be amazing or an absolute nightmare. So on this show, I speak with people who are killing it in business, and I find out what it really takes to succeed. If you think you'd be a good guest, then drop me an email at joe@innersound.media. Enjoy the episode. Tania, Tans, whatever you go by today, thank you so much for joining me on Mastering Business Growth.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Excellent. So let's start with who you are and what you do. Please tell us.
Awesome. So I'm Tania Benade-Meyer. I have two businesses. One, I am a data consultant at a company called Unstructured, which I'm the founder of. And then another company, which I'm a co-founder of with my husband, which is a partner of Monday.com called Mutherboard.com. There's a reason why there's a play on the .coms. So yeah, that's what I do. And that's why I'm here to talk about these businesses today.
Lovely. Okay, so take us back to the start. Where did the career begin? How did you get to the point where you got Mutherboard and whatnot? Let's take us back to the beginning.
Okay, so about 6 years ago, moved from South Africa to the UK, working at a company who did social listening. So that's my passion, is looking at unstructured data, looking at online conversations, really understanding when people say one thing, what do they mean, trying to find intent behind it. That's what I absolutely love to do.
Is that strictly in a business sense, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, we did lots of stuff with the data, like predicting election outcomes, just by analyzing what people said online. So
what, just on a personal level, you were just predicting things, or were you doing that professionally?
Through our company.
Oh,
so
right. Oh, wow.
Back then, we were in 2016, we were the only company in the world that correctly predicted Trump becoming president and the outcome of Brexit. So, and that was just using social media data to understand what people were saying online and inferring who they're going to vote for. And that kind of shot our company into the big world. News agencies coming to our office was quite cool in Cape Town.
Wow, that is cool.
But that kind of opened the door for us to then move into the UK market. And as part of that, I moved over to try and establish that here. But then after that, I worked with a consultant doing digital transformation journeys, which I absolutely loved, like going into businesses and not just looking at one part of the data, which is conversations, but kind of getting a sense of the broader conversation, how the systems work together, and really getting under the hood of businesses and how data all fits together in the broader sense of it. And that's where I fell in love with the world of consulting. And so after that, I started my consulting business, data consulting, working especially with small businesses and helping them extract meaning from their data. So not just looking at the numbers, one and zeros, what is our profit, what is our growth, but going beyond that, looking almost from an external in perspective. So looking at what are people saying online and how does that actually translate into my profits inside the business? Because lots of businesses only look at their financial statements or what is happening inside. Very few actually go outside their business to see what are people saying about them. So it's very reactive in that sense, whereas looking outside in is very proactive. So love doing that. That's my absolute passion. But one challenge that I was facing as a data consultant was that I would give everyone all these insights, which I thought was really great, which they would say is great, but none of them actually went and implemented it and actioned it in their business. And so the more I got into trying to find new customers who's asking me what my ROI is of what I do, I couldn't prove it because my customers weren't going to action it. It was kind of like I handed over to them and that's where it stopped. So I was in this dilemma of how do I get to show the ROI of what I do? At that point in time, my husband was working at another company doing Monday.com integrations. And it kind of felt, the more we spoke about it, that there's something there where we could use a system like Monday that helps people take their business from Excel spreadsheets and notes on paper into a digitized system where you can assign people and hold them accountable, add tasks, deadlines. And really, it felt like it was closing that gap between me doing the insights, the giving people actions, and then actually holding them accountable and embedding it in their business processes. So it kind of felt at that point then that this could be a good fit for Unstructured by partnering with Monday, where we can take insight to action. And so that's then where the Mutherboard journey began. So for about 8 months to a year, it was Unstructured doing data analytics and Monday.com integrations. And then we reached a point where we were doing a way more Monday work outside of the data work. So there wasn't that connection there. And it just became really difficult to actually articulate what our USP was. So we did through a whole brand exercise with a consultancy, and we just realized that it wasn't working. Like, it was two very different businesses at that point with two very different USPs and brand positioning. So we had to split the brands. And so that's what we did. And now they are separate. Data consulting, helping customers get value from their data. Monday.com, helping customers get value from Monday.
Right, that sounds great. So why specifically smaller businesses? Is it just because they're easier to get in with? Or because, like you say, from the first company, it sounds like you had major opportunities to jump in with some of the big boys, but you obviously went for smaller businesses. What is that?
It's by design. We chose to work with small businesses because we ourselves are small businesses. We know the pain that small businesses face. But more than that, I feel like small businesses just more appreciate what you do for them and also have the facilities to implement it. If you get to large businesses, there's so much red tape, there's so many decision makers. It's all just sometimes ticking boxes. We have to do this because we're trying to meet the strategic goal. Whereas small businesses, if you help them, you make an actual difference in their business. You can see that. You can see, we worked with this business last year. We helped them implement this data insight or this process automation. And a year later, when we're still working with them, what they tell us is, you've changed my business significantly. I'm saving 40 hours a week. I'm able to scale my business because I'm not wasting time on redoing things or manually doing things or two people doing the same job and they didn't even know about it. So
and you can actually generate more impressive ROIs that way.
Exactly.
You can easily double a small company's revenue.
Exactly. Like, we are actually making a difference, and we love working with small businesses. It's also that personal thing where we're often speaking to the founder, and what he says resonates with us because we are in the same position, and we can go to them and tell our story. Like, we run our entire business of Monday.com, front to end, our HR, our finance, our project management, our sales, everything is on Monday. And when we say that to businesses, they go, oh, I also want that. It sounds so easy. And it is easy. And so we can talk the talk, but we also walk the walk. Yeah. We do what we give to our customers. And so they actually get the benefit of all the pains that we had to go through and things that we had to change multiple times and the way that we do it. And now we can translate that back to our customers. And yeah, we love working with small businesses. No, that's great. I mean, we've had some similar things ourselves where it's like, smaller businesses, certain issues, it's like, right, they might not have the money for what we're doing. But then it's like, you can actually, like you say, create a positive ROI, not just financially, but kind of socially. You're giving them a better lifestyle because they're making more money, and that just frees up life. But then with the bigger businesses, it's right, it's good for a name drop, but not much else because, again, some of our clients, won't name names, huge, everyone will have heard of them, but getting money out of them is so complicated. It's like, fill out this supplier form, needs to be approved by this guy, that guy, and then we pay quarterly. It's like, oh my God, that doesn't work for me. That's no good. You can't run a small business if you're chasing guys like that. And all it takes is one person to be like, sorry, we didn't get that. We missed that email or whatever. And it's like, well, I can't work with you anymore. So we've done a similar thing. We aim for smaller businesses now. Like you say, slight hurdles where it's maybe some people don't have the cash flow, so it's like, well, whatever. But you do know, at least then you're able to sustain yourself and you're able to make a difference. We got burned by large businesses because we have, with a couple of businesses which were large brands, because it would be good for our portfolio to say, oh, we've worked with this brand, right? Went through 3 to 4 months of documentation and going through DPIs, like data protection assessments, and paying for better insurance for a company. Like, we actually spend so much time and money to try and win a contract just for them to turn around and say, you're too small for us to work with. And so that had to happen 2 or 3 times until we went, no, not for us. It's not a good investment of our time. And you build a relationship with the people, and you can actually see the people go like, we really love you. We want to work with you. We love, like, you get what our business does. But computer says no.
I actually watched that for the first time in about 10 years the other night. So good. I won't be able to put much of that on TV anymore, would you? So good. So I want to touch on something you said earlier. The whole thing where it's like, right, you give this great advice, consulting, but you can't measure an ROI because you can't make people do the things you've given them. We have a similar problem, or we've had a similar problem where same deal podcast, and it's like, right, if you do it this way and you do it that way, cool, it's good for business development, but you can't make people do it. So we came up with a plan, like, right, we're going to work with you on a pipeline. This is how you do it. We'll create this list of people to outreach, from initial outreach to either sale or referral, and you have to actively walk them through it. And that's the only way you can make sure they're getting results and they go, right, this is great. So I'm curious, how did Mutherboard come along and make that possible for you guys?
Yeah, we struggled with that.
Yeah.
So we would build amazing solutions for customers and then they just won't use it. And it was a big frustration because they feel like they've paid for something, but then they come back to us and say it's unusable. And we're like, it's not unusable. You just haven't used it, so you don't understand how it works. So we also just had to learn by burning our fingers. And what we eventually figured out was that the reason why it didn't work is that people would come to us and they would verbalize what their processes are like currently, just kind of how they're doing it, but no one actually had their processes written down.
All right.
And so if your process isn't written down, you can't see where the gaps or issues are, or you can't see where, actually, why do we need 2 people to approve this? This doesn't make sense. Or why do we have a middleman? You have to go talk to Susan and Susan has to talk to Jack. Why doesn't Tania just talk to Jack? There's no reason for Susan to be involved. So people don't realize that until you force them to write it down. And so we changed our whole methodology of how we scope projects when we start building solutions for them by first having an architecture call. So you go, and if it's, sometimes we have 3 hours of sessions where people just talk us through their processes and we map it out on like a whiteboard.
I was going to say that must be like a part of your qualifying process now. Like, do you have SOPs in place? Because same deal. When we first started, it was just winging it like hell. Now we have top to bottom processes. Like, this is how we, onboard someone from top to bottom. This is how we, start a project and finish a project. We know down to a T what we're doing. Do you find that's like a big issue? Like, are you talking to many companies who just don't actually have it written down what to do?
Yeah, it's our best customers are the ones who come to us saying, here's all my processes mapped out. Can you build it? 2 weeks, done. They're happy, it works, no issues.
And is that exactly what you do then at Mutherboard? You actually build out the digital version of their processes and you hand it to them so they can just start ticking it off, passing things across.
Exactly. So most people I would say the people who have the hardest problems that their business is growing, and they're running everything on Excel. They can't see what's happening in their business. They can't project cash flow. They don't know what their sales reps are doing, where they are, what activities they're up to. So it comes to a point, and I think it's once you pass that 6 to 7 people mark, it becomes really hard for a founder to then know what's happening in their business because you can't speak to everyone all the time. And so at that point, putting something that just creates that visibility as a starting point, it's already, you win. So what we do is if you buy Monday, it's like a blank Excel spreadsheet that you have. There's nothing on it. So a lot of companies go, I'll just do it myself, and then they try, and it's absolute chaos because you can mold it to whatever you want it to be. So we really go and understand how it all fits together and how the people fit together in it, because often it happens, businesses run in silos and it's not by design, it just happens. The marketing team has their process and the sales team has their process. But at the end of the day, you're all one company that has to work together, and those processes need to be handed over from one person to another. And no one thinks about that when they're running a business. But when you start questioning about them, they go, oh yeah, how do we do it currently? I don't know, I just send that person an email. And what happens if they don't respond? Oh, we forget to do it. Exactly, because it's not embedded in your processes or written down, or a system automatically telling you, Tanya's completed it, it's now Joe's turn to go and do what he needs to do. So just helping people talk about it actually helps them realize where the gaps are.
Have you heard about that thing where it's like a decision fatigue? So everyone's got X amount of decisions they can make every day, and it can be little things like, what am I having for breakfast? What top shall I wear today? And all these things, even if they are minor decisions to make, they still contribute towards decision fatigue. So you find a lot of like people like Steve Jobs and Peter Griffin famously wear the same thing every day. So it's like one thing they don't have to think about. And that's kind of what you're doing really, isn't it? When you use something like Mutherboard, where it's like, okay, I don't even have to remember, right, what's next or how I do it. So do you know, this would be great. Tell us, I don't know how Monday works. I'm aware of it. I don't really know much about it. So tell me like I'm a 5-year-old. What exactly is it? And after that, we'll talk about Mutherboard and exactly what that is and how the two work together to streamline your operation. So please start with Monday.com.
Okay. So the best way to explain it for everyone to understand is everyone has used Excel sometime in their life. Monday is just Excel on steroids. So whatever you can build in an Excel sheet, you can build it on Monday, but more. So it has columns and rows, and the added benefit is there's automations that happen. So what I can do is I can take my Excel spreadsheet, I can put it on Monday, but what I can then do is, for as an example, one thing that I have built is, one thing that Rob, our solutions director, have built is we get water delivered to our office. Those nice water that makes your water cooler. I don't know what you call them.
Water cooler, I guess.
Water coolers.
Water fountain. Is that the American term? I don't
know. When we run out, we have to send an email to the company to order a new one. So he's just gone into Monday and put in the guy's email that we need to email, or created a text box that has the message and have a button and an automation. So, and a column that says the number of water that we want. So all it does when we're running out of water is it puts in the number and it clicks a button and it automatically sends an email to our water company to order our water. 2 days later, our water arrives. No
Nice.
email, he just presses a button. And so small little things like that where you can just automate manual tasks. So it then takes all of that and puts it into dashboards. And if you think about a sales process, something that is really beneficial is salespeople can log their activities. If I made a call or I send an email, you get basically a whole activity log of everything that they've done. And on a monthly basis, the sales manager can go and see in a dashboard, my reps made these many calls to these customers in these regions, in these industries, and this is how we are converting that pipeline.
How diverse can this be? Can you integrate with things like LinkedIn and everything? Like where does it end?
Yeah, so you can do integration. So that's kind of where we then come in. So Monday is the platform. SaaS company, they sell licenses. You buy a license to Monday and you basically get a blank Excel spreadsheet. Then people who are partners like Mutherboard, we then go and build customized workflows for customers. You tell us how your business run and we customize the whole platform to do the things that you want it to do.
So it's effectively a service.
Yeah. So we and then we do integrations as well, and we do training. So we train people on how to use Monday. So recently we launched a new training platform using another platform which we absolutely love and are obsessed with, called GatherTown. GatherTown was developed mostly for remote teams. And it worked really well during COVID. So you basically create your little avatar. It feels like you're playing Sims, but you're at the office. So everyone creates their desk and customizes their avatar. And we all stand at our desk. So you can see on a daily basis who's in the office or who's not in the office. If someone is out, it's their birthday. For instance, last week, one of our employees was on leave. It was their birthday. So you can kind of see the little gifts on his table as people leaving him notes for his birthdays. So when he gets back, there's a whole bunch of notes on his desk.
Does it add a nice sort of childlike vibe to what is work and responsibility? Cushion the blur.
Yeah, our entire employee base is remote. We all work remotely. Mm-hmm. So being in the office and seeing people in the office, it really creates that similar sense, because your avatar can walk up to someone and then your video will pop up and you have a conversation with someone. So
that's really nice.
Instead of scheduling a call in the diary, you just walk up to someone's desk like you would in a normal office and have a quick 5-minute conversation with them. We have an office cat, an office dog. Monday and Tuesday is our office cat and dogs, so we named them. And then on Friday afternoons, we have end of week where everyone goes down to our games room and we play different games together. So it's kind of like how we end our week. So from a cultural perspective, it's made a huge difference in our company. So we fell in love with it when we created our virtual office for our remote employees. And then we saw the potential of why don't we do the same for our customers? So we train lots of customers on Zoom or on Google Meet. But what if we can create an environment that's like a university that we can bring our customers onto our campus and train them on how to use Monday.com? Because it's one thing building stuff for people. It's a whole other thing in empowering to do themselves. So Monday is growing massively as a company. And right now, there's still lots of work for us to consult to people and to help them build these solutions. But eventually, more and more people are going to become used to how Monday works and do it themselves. So we want to be the first people to train people, empower them to become Monday advocates and know all about Monday and feel really proficient at Monday. So we created our campus. So as a customer, you can create your own avatar, and then you can come to our campus and attend our training sessions for free. And then you can also go do go-kart racing with our employees or play poker on a Friday afternoon. So you can come to our campus at any time and just walk around or just go racing around our go-kart. There's a go-kart that is a dinosaur. So if you feel like riding around on a dinosaur, you can do that. So it creates that fun element to something that could be quite serious in a business sense. But what it also does is it brings community together. So you can network with other people who is using Monday. What challenges are they facing, or what tips and tricks do they have? So our customers then get a place to meet each other. Oh, how are you using Monday in your business? Oh, you're using it for finance. I never thought about using it for finance. We only use it for project management. Now you've given me an idea. Or just like talking to like-minded people, and it's creating networking opportunities for our customers.
Yeah, no, that's great. So I'm curious, there must be competitors out there to Monday. Why Monday then? What's so good about them specifically that other companies are trying to do but failing?
Monday moves fast. Mm-hmm. So you will log in every day and there will be a new feature. So that's one of the things that
is
we
that
really
always
like.
A good thing though?
For us as partners, it's a good thing, because people, if you don't work in Monday every single day, it will be really hard for you to become an expert in Monday.
Yeah.
Because things change all the time. And they build things so quickly and change things so quickly, but for the better. Like the platform, they only launched their CRM 2 years ago, and it's already rated as one of the best in the world.
Is that right?
Because they're constantly evolving and getting customer feedback and changing it and making it better. So that was the one thing. Like, we love innovation. We always try to do something different than what everyone else is doing. So Monday, innovative. That is what we liked about it. The other thing we liked about it is that you can make it whatever you want. I use it as a way to plan my recipes for the week, or as a way to remind me to water our plants. Simple, stupid things in your day-to-day life, budgeting tool, or reminders to cancel a subscription because it's only going to renew a year from now and you're going to forget about it.
Yeah.
So just small little things like that in your daily life that you can use it for. Then you can use it in your work life. I have an integration built that basically takes all my emails that get sent to me. It puts it in a Monday board. It then runs it through ChatGPT to categorize it, whether it's important, is it from an employee, from a customer, is it a spam email? And so all it does is basically prioritize my emails for me. So I only have to care about the most important ones, and the other ones I just mark as read, delete.
Amazing.
So it helps.
Can it ever get it wrong?
It does.
Or is that a ChatGPT thing? Have you ever missed like golden opportunities from that?
I've never missed an important email.
Right.
So it might get like the topic wrong, or it might get the team that it comes from wrong. But in terms of priority and what is important, because I'd work on unstructured data, I know which prompts to give it to get the right outcome.
Yeah,
so I have a little bit of a advantage in that sense.
Absolutely. So it sounds like the kind of thing where once it's in your life and you know how it works, you need it, and you'll never look back. So I imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the biggest roadblocks in what you do and just people converting to using Monday.com is, it's a learning curve. I just can't be asked to learn another thing, another software thing. How do you get people over that hump to the point where they're learning about it, they understand it, and they recognize that they need it and it's worth the investment of time to learn it?
What we have learned works the best is showing value immediately. Delivering something that's really small but will have an immediate impact where they go, oh my gosh.
Give me an example.
So automating your emails. Something that every single, no matter what department you are in or what your job is, whether you're senior, junior, in sales, in project management, in IT, everyone hates emails. No one wants to read emails.
I posted a clip from a previous episode this morning, which was about emails. He's talking about everyone hates them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Meetings. Why do I have so many meetings? So at some point, I struggled with time management, and our business coach was like, okay, for 2 weeks, track what you do with your time. I built a Monday board, which I categorized, imported my calendar that then automatically categorizes my e-meeting. Is it internal or external? What is the topic about? Am I meeting about HR topics? If I'm meeting internally, what are the team members that I'm meeting with? And what I learned was that I'm spending all my time on admin when I should be spending my time on sales and helping our company grow and thinking about go-to-market strategies. problem solved. We need an admin person. Hire an admin person, life change. Like the amount of time that it freed up for me is insane just because I knew what I was doing with my time. So immediately, 2 weeks later, and I had a massive problem solved in my life just by tracking what I was doing. So every single day, there's something small in your life that creates a pain point for you, and you can use Monday to solve that.
So 2 things I like to talk about just to get how it looks through the lens of what you do. I like to talk about business development, and I also like to talk about operations. But I want to start with operations because we've kind of touched on it a little bit. You've obviously got different departments, sort of the consulting, if you will, actually building out the service, where you build out people's operations and whatnot in Monday.com. So tell us a little about each of them and specifically what it might look like for a client when they approach you and it's like, okay, here we are, we've signed on with you. What does it look like?
So we use a sprint methodology. So again, that was learned over time. So usually we would implement projects. It would take us 6 months. Now we can deliver it in 6 weeks. So you come to us, we'll have a first call. We'll try to understand what your pain points are, and we'll try to find that quick win for you. So if you're already using Monday, we'll be like, share your screen. We can show you something, a quick tip or trick. Consulting calls works brilliant every time. And Rob, our solutions director, always says, you can't give people too much because there's so much you can do in Monday that we actually overwhelm them with so much information that immediately they go, I can't do this myself. I don't have the time and I don't have the knowledge. You guys are obviously experts. So it's really getting them to buy into our expertise and the value that we can add. So once we know what your business problems are, once we move forward, we'll then do a scoping call where we will build your architecture to proper map out so you can go, yes, this is how my business works, or this is how I want my business to work. So you have to
ask, is it interesting for people to go when they actually see it written down for the first time? Oh my God, yeah, that is my business. Is it like a strange experience for people to see it from like a clear bird's eye view? And does that help them tighten up their systems and processes as a result?
Yes, and we have learned to ask certain questions that they don't even think about. So when this happens, who does it go to next? What information do they need? What other information do you have to capture? That's absolutely crucial. Like sales teams fail in this all the time because if you go to a sales leader, he'll probably tell you one of his biggest challenges is dirty CRM data because he doesn't force his salespeople to enter the crucial information. And so Monday has an ability for you to force people to enter the crucial information that gives you clean data so you can make decisions actually from your data. So There's no point putting data if you're not going to use it. So just like asking them, what is the absolute crucial information that we need to capture for you to then progress the opportunity to the next stage? So we get really, really in-depth. And like I say, sometimes if it's a simple process, it takes an hour. Sometimes we'll spend 3 to 4 hours on really complex processes. Once that is done, you're happy with the architecture, you agree this is how your business runs, our solution specialist then goes and starts building it on Monday. And we'll have little check-ins every morning. We work super collaboratively with all our customers. So every morning you'll have a check-in. The solution specialist will show you what they've done the previous day. You can go, yes, this makes sense. It doesn't make sense. Maybe the terminology doesn't make sense, or the process flow, now that you think about it overnight, maybe our business doesn't work that way, or it's going to create some friction. So you also, during this process, can start to actually review your processes and see, does it make sense? We want customers to start using the solution as soon as possible, because once they start using it, what they also realize is what is in my head isn't how reality works. It's not actually how I run my business, it's how I want it to run. But once I start using the solution, a lot of people actually go, oh, this actually doesn't work for it, we need to change it. And so we force our customers to actually buy support packages from us, at least for 3 months post them start using it, because 100% of our customers, after we've built it and they go, this is perfect, this is exactly what I wanted, once they start using it, they go, this doesn't work for us, we need to change it. You have to use the software to actually test your own processes to see, does it work for my business in the most efficient way?
Of course, and that's something I was actually going to ask. So is it like a one-time project you work on? But as you kind of just mentioned there, tell me a bit more about that. So it's like a one-time project to build out your systems and processes and then continuous support package.
Yeah, so we implement it. You sign off on it, but then we also train, because a lot of the time the people who is giving us the information to build it, it's not necessarily always the people who's going to use it. So we then go and do user training, we do user testing. We actually go through 2 weeks where they submit tickets, like UX tickets of bugs that they find or things that they find doesn't work for them. Once they're happy, we train people on it. Then they start using it. So then we have 3 months period where it's anything you find, we will change it for you. We're not going to build a brand new solution for you. It's really for testing and refining your solution. And one of the other reasons also why we partnered with Monday is because Monday can change as your business grows. So whether you are 10 people in your business or 1,000 people in your business, you can use Monday. So often, like other softwares, it's specifically just for small businesses. And then when you grow, you kind of have to change. With Monday, once you use Monday, you never have to change again. There's no data transfers. There's no signing new vendor contracts. All of that goes away. No learning new platforms. Once you've learned Monday, you will use Monday forever because you wouldn't need to change. Because if your business grows, things have to change. You get new departments. Maybe you don't have marketing when you start out. Now we've got a marketing department. They need something. You build that marketing flow in Monday that connects to everything else. Cool, now we do it. Next month or next year or 2 years from now, you have a new department. Maybe you now need a legal team. You build the legal team solution and workflows in there, tack it onto the sales team, send a request to the legal team automatically, sign the contract, approve, send it back. Don't have to speak to anyone. Don't have to send an email. You just press a button and it sends them the contract. So Monday can grow as your company grows. This means you never, ever have to go through the admin and pain of transitioning data, customer data, reformatting, and that becomes really costly. So the earlier you can embed Monday actually as a small business, the easier it's going to become and cheaper for you to scale your business up to 10,000 people.
Of course. And obviously we spoke earlier about how you prefer working with smaller businesses, but it sounds very much like if bigger businesses, they have, internal departments for like you mentioned, legal, marketing. Do you find it just on a personal level more fun to sink your teeth into massive companies that have all these different departments?
Actually not.
Or do you hate it? Is it more like a curse that, God damn it, I'm so good at this and I need it to be right?
It's really difficult because once people have really big teams, it's very hard to actually grow it beyond that because people get embedded. So IT teams love using a platform like Jira. It's really hard if they've used it for a very long time to actually change them to a new platform. So it's actually a lot easier for small businesses to change and adapt new technology because things also get so interlinked. So we're like, we can't change this because it is integrated with that platform, which is integrated. So you actually have to unravel this whole spider web of technologies. The bigger a company gets, the more software it requires, the harder the spider web gets to untangle. If you're really small spider web, and you grow with that, you will never actually have a complicated spider web. So
in an ideal world, you would start with a company when they're small, get the systems there, and as they start branching out, you just keep creating systems for them.
Exactly. So then ongoing, as you grow. So our objective is to help businesses in the UK or globally become the most productive in the world, because you can do that with Monday, because you don't have to waste time on system issues or IT tickets or all the big things that comes with systems in a business that fails people. If you set up Monday, it just grows with your business. So there is so much productivity over the long term of your company that you're going to save.
Absolutely. Do you know what's interesting as well? You hear from people who work in bigger companies where you might get some people who are just turning up for the paycheck and like trying to do that sort of quiet quitting thing where they don't actually do much work. Have you found where implementing this into bigger companies, all of a sudden people are getting caught out like, hang on, you weren't doing much, were you? Do you ever find things like that?
I mean, they won't tell us that.
Yeah, so people are forced all of a sudden to be very aware of what's happening all over the place. When a lot of the time you might find that this guy from marketing has no idea what so-and-so from whatever's doing, and people have no idea. They're not working. It's not singing off the same hymn sheet. But this, I suppose, would force you to make sure everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah. I think for big companies, what there's always a fear is, from an employee perspective, if we implement a system that is claiming to save us so many hours in a week, is my job at risk? So then it almost creates another problem for big companies where you have to be very careful in terms of how you sell it to them from an ROI perspective, because productivity is important, but now you have to get employees to buy in and to use it. And will they use it effectively if they feel like their job is at risk because you're cutting 40 hours a week? That is a person's job.
Yeah. So how do you even begin to have those conversations?
we just, for larger companies, we try to look at it from a different angle, which is it reduces complexity, it creates transparency, it gives you visibility of what is happening in your business. So
and relieves stress, I guess, all across the board, which hopefully gives you happier workers.
I mean, visibility across businesses is one of the biggest things, small or big. People don't know what's happening in their business because, the bigger you get, the more siloed departments are. Marketing does what marketing does, sales does, like everyone works in silos. Data lives in silos, processes lives in silos. So if executives go sit at their board meeting every month, the CMO goes and presents stuff that he has done this month, and every department takes it from their perspective, but there's no one that kind of looks at it from a high level to go, what does their data say and how does it link to the finance team or the operations team? So this is a data problem actually a lot of companies face, where using something like Monday actually overcomes that, because you can see from an operational perspective, productivity, activities, tasks. You can also see what people are spending time on, which they shouldn't be. That's not part of their jobs. Why is the marketing team spending time on creating customer contracts? That should be the operations team or the finance team that does that. So it does reveal broken processes in your system.
I was literally just going to say it's an obvious term, but bottlenecking, and that's something I've been using it quite a lot in the past week or so. Like, where's the bottleneck on that? Where's the bottleneck on that? And I suppose that will clearly reveal, Revelios, the bottleneck sort of thing. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. And be like, right, where's the broken link?
Exactly. So if a status column hasn't changed from new or upcoming task to I'm clicking and saying I'm starting to work on this for 2 weeks, you kind of start seeing which people are blockers, why they are blockers, which tasks they don't like doing. It starts like the data that it generates from you from an operational perspective is people don't think about it. So when people use Monday, they think about creating visibility. I'm going to have dashboards. I'm going to automate my tasks. What they don't see is the back-end data that you capture from an operational perspective about where are the gaps in my processes that I need to fix? Where are people duplicating work?
That's genius, really. Almost scary. People might go, oh no, how much have we left on the table all this time?
Exactly. So, there's no time like the present to start fixing it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Let's talk about business development. We were just chatting before we started shooting about, again, your philosophies, if you will, on marketing. But let's talk about market and business development as a whole bucket. What are your thoughts? What are your philosophies? How do you get business into what you're doing in both your companies?
It's one of the hardest things that I think any small business will tell you is business development. We try to be very innovative. We've tried a lot of things that hasn't worked, but we are not scared of trying. We will try everything. And our philosophy is kind of built on something which I learned when I went to a talk by Noel Mack, which I think is a genius in branding. And he had this philosophy about putting your towel down first, like going to a resort over the holiday season, and you have to be the first one there to claim your seat. And so what they do is they want to be the first. Even if there's 10 new social media platforms launching in a month, they're going to be there for all 10 of them. And so I really like that philosophy is let's just be the first ones there. Let's try it. If it fails, it fails. Then we move on. We try something else. But what if we do it and it works? And so this whole training campus thing where we're doing it in a virtual avatar, like it feels like you're playing Sims when you go there. Every single person that has come to our campus have gone, this is amazing. I want to learn more. Like they absolutely love it. And so we see the potential where we're adding value to customers, but we're doing it in such an unconventional way because we want to be the first people to do it. Every year, Monday has their Elevate conference where all big customers and partners come together. So we like a bit of guerrilla marketing. So partners will buy a stand or like do the formal way. We don't have lots of money to spend as a small business. We can't build a stand and do all the stuff that others do. So we try to find backdoor ways of doing it. So last year we printed coasters with our branding on and just left it on all the drinks tables and the staff would remove it and then we'll go put it back again. This year everyone is going digital. We're going to go paper. Recycled paper, we printed actual newspapers with all of our information about the services that we provide, some fun stuff of creating funny Monday automations, like if task is overdue, assign it to my boss, like funny things like that in this newspaper, promoting our campus, telling stories, showcasing our staff and cool things that they do. So just going and then again, just leaving newspapers everywhere. And it's something that's so different. No one thinks about newspapers. It's quite old school. But then you see people standing there and reading it. And I had some of the other partners sending pictures to me saying, oh, this is really cool. Jealous, I didn't think of this. So we're thinking about what we're going to do next year to disrupt.
Any thoughts so far?
We were thinking about putting one of our staff on stilts and just walking around or something with like a massive Mutherboard logo. So that hasn't been there. So bring some circus to
yeah,
to
of course, that's it. It's one of the things, though, isn't it? Like you can get, you used the example, was it they had a Gymshark one, a fight, I can't remember which fight it was. But yeah, it's like, right, no one's, everyone's fighting to get, their T-shirts on this main guy, but then you said there was someone in the background, and it's like, right, he's not famous, the trainer. So it's like, well, we'll give him some T-shirts for free. He's not even charging us because he's not famous, but then he's still there and shot all the time. The question is, so that's genius. The question is, though, how do you then get people onto your platform? People talk about, data you own or whatnot. So it's how do you then get people to say sign up for a mailing list or follow you on social media? How do you think about things like that?
So QR codes is quite powerful. So we had QR codes all over our newspaper. Sign up for our free campus. You don't have to do anything. It costs you nothing. Just come and check it out. Have some fun. Come play games with our staff. What do you have to lose? And during that sign-up process, we asked, do you want to sign up for our newsletter? So we then start like our newsletter since launching our campus, our newsletter has grown by like 400-500%.
Amazing.
And then we have the opportunity to tell customers about all the other stuff that we do because they just think Monday, but there's a whole lot of other stuff what we do like integrations, like integrating your Xero with Monday or integrating your HubSpot with Monday or whatever other software you're using, you can integrate all of that with Monday. So things like that and being persistent, but not annoying. So you have to walk that fine line about I'm just going to bug you just enough for you to know that I'm there, but not so much that I annoy you. So we've kind of figured out what the perfect combo is.
And tell me, what is it?
It's my secret.
It's your secret. And is it applicable for everyone, do you think?
I guess you need to learn your target audience.
Yeah.
So it depends, again, if you who you're targeting. So we're targeting small business owners. Mm-hmm. They don't have a lot of time. They get lots of emails every day. So one of the things that we do is I just send an email, very simple, subject line, do you want to chat about Monday.com? That's it. That's all the email says. I'm not pitching you my business. I'm not selling you my history. I'm not selling all the benefits to you. Everyone knows what Monday is. I'm just asking you, do you want to chat about it? And there are people, because Monday does so much marketing, that goes, yeah, I've kind of seen it. Why not? What do I have to lose to just have a chat about it? And it works. I've had 3 people say yes to me over email in a week because it's just something that's really simple. So you have to understand who it is that you're talking to. And if they don't follow up, then you give them a little bit more and then a little bit more, because you have to understand that sometimes people, maybe that isn't enough for them. Maybe they won't be like, okay, yeah, I've heard of it, but what is it actually going to do for me? So lots of testing. Like I say, we try things all the time. I've tried email marketing, which is very funny. That didn't work at all. I got marked as spam. And then I tried stuff that was really serious. No one opens it because it's boring. It's the same as everyone else. Now I'm going really simple. Just asking one simple question that you have to respond to. You don't have time to read my email, so I'm not going to make you spend time on reading the email.
That's very clever, that. Do you know, I'm curious. So I've spoken to a lot of people, a lot of business leaders in different industries all over the world. And a key theme I keep hearing is it's about relationships and people, particularly in the B2B space. And it's like you're getting people to spend hundreds, if not thousands of pounds monthly. And for people to be able to pull the trigger on that, they need to feel comfortable, like they know you, and they should genuinely know you. Is that the same deal with you guys? Do you find that's correct?
100%.
Yeah, so really it's just a matter of getting people to that point where you can get to know them.
It's from the get-go. Mm-hmm. We always say to people, we are South African. We'll just tell you how it is. You will always get the straight story from us. We're not going to tip around something, and we want you to be the same. If you're not interested, just tell us. Don't say, oh, yeah, this sounds interesting, and then ghost us. Like, no one gains from that. You're wasting your time. You're wasting our time. We're going to bombard you with messages that you don't want. We're going to get annoyed because you're not messaging us back. There's just, let's be honest. We have thick skins. If you tell us, you know what, I like it, but not interested, cool, then we move on and try someone else. We don't want to waste each other's time. So just being upfront from the get-go and telling people, we're going to give it to you honest, but give it back to us, has saved us so much time chasing our tails and trying to get people to sign up when they're really not interested, but they don't want to offend us or tell us no.
Well, I've got bad news for you. Britain is the worst place for that. We're all awfully polite in a very almost automated way. It's built into us. You know, you bump into someone and you apologise for whatever reason. It's like, why did I just apologise?
Yeah. So
was that a shock? Was that a shock when you came here?
It was. So my husband worked in sales in South Africa for a very long time, moving into sales here. And he hated it because he's like, in South Africa, people are very upfront and honest. They'll just say, love what you have, don't have the money to buy it, or not interested. Cool, you move on with your life. Here, people, like you would go and you step out of the meeting and go, that meeting was amazing, they're definitely going to sign, and you'll never hear from him again. And he really struggled to such a point where he said, I'll never do sales again. So he just changed jobs. So we had to learn. It took us a very long time to learn what the nuances was in terms of language and culture and how do you sell value and how do you sell yourself to people. Like, it's culturally very different, but we are humans. We all like a pint on a Friday night. We all like to complain about the weather. Like, I probably complain about the weather more than any other British person now.
Oh, really?
I think I am fully British now because I have to complain about the weather once a day.
Yeah, you did actually have some negative comments on it before we started shooting.
It's a part of my daily life.
So funny. Well, I'll tell you what, I would like to ask, what is, from your memory across both businesses, let's talk about some high points and low points. At what point, was there ever a point where you thought, do you know what, this isn't working? Going to have to jack this in?
Well, like quite recently, like I mentioned to you earlier, the summertime was like worse than what we expected this year in terms of getting a new business. And then like you start questioning, you're like, is it worth doing it? Should I just go and take a permanent job again? Like, being a business owner is hard.
So hard. And
it's not just like yourself that you're looking after. For me, it's like I have 7 employees that I have to worry about. I have sleepless nights about them. I'll be okay. I will make a plan. I always figure it out. But for them, like, especially because a lot of them are also based in South Africa, there aren't a lot of job opportunities. Like, unemployment for people under the age of 30 is 70%. There's not a lot of jobs and there's so much talent. So for us, I know the impact that it will have on their lives, and that is what keeps me awake at night. So I will lie awake at night thinking of ways that I would make it work, find new business or try a new marketing strategy or reach out to my network. I am very fortunate that early on in moving to the UK, I met incredible people that saw value in what I do and has been part of my network for a very long time. And from my data consulting business, I have never done one day of marketing for my data consulting because I've got 2 to 3 people that will always give me business. If I go to them and say, I have capacity or I really need help, they will introduce me to someone and I'm guaranteed to get business because I'm lucky that I met the right people at the right time.
I think I now know one of them.
You do know one of them. He is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so I'm curious, where did that mindset come from? Is it just because of where you grew up? Or what? Because, yeah, a lot of people here, they are less thick-skinned, I would say, and, you know, things can bother them real bad. But this is one of the reasons I like talking to business leaders and people just in business in general. I know from my own experience, it is brutally hard. No matter what you're doing, it's so hard. And particularly when you're like low to the ground and you're juggling things and having to just, you know, kind of juggle things into existence, it really takes something. And I find it amazing when people just find the will to keep going. And I'm always curious where people find that. What is it that keeps you going? So in your instance, what is it?
Resilience. And I think we are very resourceful. Like, I don't know, we always say, we will make a plan. It doesn't matter what it is, we will figure it out. Like, I think growing up in South Africa, what I've learned living here is you always have the government as kind of a safety net that, well, if I don't have an income, there is ways out of it for me. In South Africa, you don't have that. There's nothing. If you lose your job, you are by yourself. If you don't have family or friends or anyone in your support network that you can rely on, you have to figure out where you're going to get food from next month. And this is a story of millions of people in South Africa. So South Africans just have that sense of resilience of, I have to make a plan because I have no other options available to me. And I think growing up there and we are very privileged in the way that we grew up, but there are millions of South Africans who weren't, and you see that every day of people struggling. So just like being grateful for having the opportunity to even live in another country where it's very easy to get a job. Like before we moved over, my husband struggled for 2 years to find a new job in South Africa. Whereas here, you lose one job, 2 months later, you could have a new job. Like there's lots of opportunities here. There's lots of money here. There's lots of safety nets here. We would never have been able to start our own business in South Africa because if it fails, we have no other options. Like there will not be jobs for us. Whereas here, we like, if it fails, I can step into a new job tomorrow. I have people that I know that will help me out. We don't have that safety net back in South Africa. So we just have that resilience of you make it work because you have to. And it bodes us well. Now, having a business is we will make a plan. It will work out. We just positive mindset. That's something that my husband is very good with. He's very positive. It will be fine. It will all work out. And I'm a planner. I need to have the plan. So I always say it works out because I make the plan for it to work out, not because you just said it's going to work out. But at the end of the day, it's just if you believe something will just sometimes it's just on the last day of the month on a Friday, you get a customer saying, hey, we need additional hours from you. Can you send me the invoice? So sometimes there's just a little bit of magic and luck that also happens.
That's one way you got to look at it. No, I feel the same way. I feel very much like if you are running a business and it's tough, if you, like you say, have a plan and you're willing to back yourself and honestly look at why is it not working? What's the solution to that? And you are willing to put the time in, you will always find an answer. You will always find a way to meet someone who's going to hire you or this or that. And yeah, I think it's really the people that just accept, you know what, it's not always an easy journey, but I'm not going to quit.
Yeah.
And you always find the way. And sorry, please go on.
I'm a natural problem solver.
Yeah.
I am constantly solving problems. If you come to me and bring a problem, I don't care what it is, I will try and solve it. Yeah. If my gym owner or the gym that we go to, if he says, oh, I'm struggling to get that, immediately I will think of 3 ideas of how to solve his problem for him. Whether they would work or not, I don't know. But I'm in a constant, if I could have a job where people just come to me all day with their problems and I'll just tell them how to solve it, that would be my ideal job because that is like my go-to for everything. If I can't do something, I will figure out how to do it because my desire is to solve the problem. And it's really interesting because the people we have hired in our business, they are all problem solvers. Yeah. And so we all always in that can-do mindset. All of our employees are absolutely amazing because like if there's problems in our business, so when our business was going through a tough time, one of our employees who is a solution specialist, he's a technical guy, he builds Monday solutions. He came to us and he's like, what can I do? I'll make phone calls. I've never done sales in my life, but I'm willing to do it. And he got in and he did it. The next day he was on the phone making calls. And it's just that, again, I don't know if it's a South African thing, but it's that can-do mindset of like, I will do anything that I can to help this business because I believe in it. And we're all a team. We will make it work.
And you always find as well, when you have to make something happen, you just can. There's always a way.
Whether you can or you can't, you're right.
Agreed. I love that one. Well, let's finish on a high. What are the plans for the future?
So we, from the get-go, our plan with Mutherboard.com has always been we want to be the biggest partner in the UK for Monday.com, and that is still the plan. We might pivot in our strategy about how we do it or how we go to market or what our solutions look like that we offer, but our goal is still to become the biggest partner in the UK or in Europe for Monday.com. So,
and is that looking likely?
We are on the right trajectory. We're the fastest growing one in terms of employee headcount, like the amount of people that we're hiring. I definitely know, and I hope none of our competitors are watching, I definitely know that we are the best in terms of service delivery. We have figured out how to deliver good services, good solutions, and our customers are over the moon. So I think we are on the right trajectory for that to happen.
I love that. What a mindset. Amazing. Do you know what? We'll call it there. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was lots of fun.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. Again, if you think you'd be a good guest on the show, then please drop me an email at joe@innersound.media. See you in the next episode.